I am Deb Coviello, and welcome to another episode of the Drop In CEO podcast, coming to you live, where week after week I have the distinct opportunity to provide you insights and hopefully inspiration to help you navigate challenges and I will say opportunities with confidence. And I will just say, if you've been here before, if this is your first time and you really, really like it, I would love for you to go to the podcast on Apple or wherever your outlet is, subscribe, rate, review, because we love reviews, because then we can continue to bring you a more great value. And just know I do this week after week because I sincerely care about the C-suite leader of today and tomorrow to navigate these challenges with confidence. And I've got some stories to tell you, but the topic this week is amazing because I've had 3 or 4 people come to my life that came to a career crossroads, and I want to be able to help you navigate the uncertainty of those crossroads with confidence. And so, in the last weekend, it's been crazy. I swear the planets are lining up. There must be a full moon because I spoke to somebody or I connected with somebody on LinkedIn and they were getting ready to jump ship from a particular role. Or somebody, the second one, recently resigned. Somebody, unfortunately, got kicked out of the nest. And lastly, my daughter, oh my daughter, and again, you hear me talk about my family from time to time. She had a job offer for the summer and they pulled it 1 week from her start date and it hit her like a ton of bricks. And oh my God, we got through the drama here. And also, she is looking for another opportunity. But let's just talk about these examples from getting ready to jump to just resigning to getting kicked out or having an opportunity being pulled from you. The first two, these individuals took a decision to move on, while the other two were not by choice. So there is a little bit of a difference, but one way or the other, you don't feel good about it. But what is common to all of these is the cycle of anger, of mourning with some time, and then eventually moving on to new possibilities. Again, it's the cycle that we have to go through. What I find common to all of these, and this is kind of gets to the root of losing your confidence, is that there's a lot of uncertainty. During these transitions, it is hard to see what is possible. And staying in the anger and in the mourning phase while we're going through these times of uncertainty, staying in anger, then moving to the mourning phase is needed to heal the soul. But it's the resiliency of the human element that helps us to get to the next phase. And so I'll tell you, I'm also uncomfortable with uncertainty. And I'll tell a quick story because, again, I tell these stories about people that come into my life because they're the inspiration for it must be a trend. I need to speak about it. But I will tell you, I have learned a lot over the past several months because I myself have had a coach, because I am trying to be able to perform at a higher level, making sure I do the things that are most valuable. And sometimes I have a tendency to work too hard. And yes, I will admit it, I have had a problem overworking myself to the point of exhaustion sometimes. And when I work with my coach, and again, we'll get back to the uncertainty and losing one's confidence. What we discovered was I was extremely uncomfortable with uncertainty. And I tried to control everything to avoid risk so I could have predictable outcomes. And when things did not happen as planned, I moved quickly to action, leaving little time for a mourning by diving right back in and using that resiliency and pressing on so I could control my situation. But the problem was I was exhausted from it and in an attempt to create confidence in uncertain times. So there's an important story here. There's uncertainty in our lives sometimes, and we go through the cycle of anger and of grieving and just being uncomfortable with the uncertainty. Some of us, and I'm just telling you to slow down a little bit, some of us will hurry, scurry, and move too quickly through a time of uncertainty to action because we need to be in control. That may be true, but I want to tell you that it could be your demise because you're so focused on the activity and not understanding the feelings of uncertainty being comfortable with uncertainty, and I'm trying to learn that myself, be comfortable with the uncertainty, because out of that, you become more confident. It's a little bit of a conflict, but with uncertainty and being comfortable with uncertainty comes confidence. So I want to help you with this. So anybody out there who happens to be going through some kind of transition, a loss, a getting ready to move on, there is a sense of uncertainty and loss. I propose to you a few things that you can do, and here's some frameworks that I want you to consider to help you navigate through this a little bit better. When you go through a transition, be sure to give yourself a bit of time to be angry and mourn what was. If we don't respect it, it's going to fester in your system, and it's going to continue to be a sore point that's going to prevent you from moving on. When you are through with that, do the things that give you energy, such as rest, a run, yoga, or a craft, or gardening that puts you in a different place and separates you from the situation. And I think that's intuitive, but I just wanted to remind you of that. And then I want you to think back to when you have transitioned before, because I'm sure this is not the first time that you decided to jump, decided to leave, or they pulled the rug out from under you. Think back to when you transitioned before. How quickly did you get a new job? Leverage your advocates to support you. Did you find new people that value you and help you with networking? What's important is to think about how you were successful in the past, but amplify, finding the people that can support you, who find value in what you do, and can help you with the networking opportunity. Now, I also want to suggest to you, again, just take notes here of how you can navigate, is take inventory of your value and all the good that you did, both technically and how you impacted people. Again, there's two parts to you. There's the technical craft that you've been groomed to do and you've been rewarded for in the past. But we are humans, and along the way, we need humans to get things done, and machines. But humans feel the impact of what we do, what we say, how we act, how we interact with them. Take inventory of what we have done well in the past, both technically and how you've impacted people. And I want you to think about stories in both areas, and tell colleagues, friends, and future prospects who think will value you. So you need to build a library of stories to say, this is what the problem was. This is what I saw the opportunity. This is what I did. This is how I brought along the people, and this is what the impact is. We need to become storytellers and start sharing this with other people, because when we do this, they're going to start to give you a response and let you know if what you have to say impacted them and does it matter. And then the next thing I want you to do is write down your unique thoughts about your technical areas, about teams, your observations, about leadership, problem solving, and make them your own. Put them down in your own words. I don't want you to cite the textbooks or the gurus about different methodologies or leadership concepts. I want you to write down your own. And then have a little fun with it. Create an acronym for them as you kind of package them and maybe share them with others and see if it resonates. Because I tell you, and I know every one of you has a unique thought, perspective, framework, ideas about how to do things differently. And this is what you can do during a time of transition to start realizing, hey, I know things. I have value. I've been able to impact people. I've been able to change the situations because of this, and this that I believe in. Again, it's really important. Now, I'll tell you a quick story about this. When I went out on my own, and I was starting to think about speaking. And I had an opportunity to speak at the ASQ World Conference. And I put together this framework. It was called the 7 P's of Quality Leadership. Now, back then, it made sense to the quality organization, but I wanted to take this concept I had about leadership and how to lead differently. And eventually, the 7 P's became the CEO's compass. And those P's are peace of mind, purpose, performance, past, pride, people, process, and platforms. And my unique thoughts about what each of those mean in the context of the CEO's compass, and learn how to tell a story about your framework, about your leadership thoughts, because this becomes who you are, your value, and how you stand out. It's really important. And I'll give you a few more tips. Again, as you're going through this time of transition, call people who remember you from the past, who can lift you up by remembering the impact you had on an organization. Call mom, call a mentor, call a friend, call a colleague, because they will lift you up. I want you to take inventory of the kind of place you want to spend the next 2 to 3 years and have an impact. Don't go back and do what you did before. Think about going forward and where do you want to make an impact. And then with all of these insights, you can design the future that you want. By spending time in the creative space of being by yourself and taking stock in your value and gaining insights from others will move you forward and performing in finding your new venture. Now, I'll tell you, when I came into my own business, I knew my value and who I could serve, but I had to invest in networking, which I had a really small network. I'll tell you, on LinkedIn, I only had about 800 people. Now I'm over 8,000, and I know a lot of them too. And putting my thought leadership out there to create the future that I wanted. And every now and then I do this, and I'm always what I'm trying to do here is create the future that I want. Now, I knew I wanted to work in my own business. I knew I wanted a platform for my thought leadership. I created the Drop In CEO podcast because I saw myself on a stage. I keep moving forward to this stage that I want to be on to be able to impact more people. I'm not looking back. I'm looking forward to create that future, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get there, but it is full of uncertainty. But I will tell you, I am confident in my pursuits. So with all this said, my final words to you are, the future may be uncertain, but be confident in your pursuits. It'll yield you dividends. Again, be comfortable with that uncertainty, but your pursuits, if you believe in them and they are firm in your values and where do you want to have impact, just know it might zigzag, it might go backwards, it might go forwards, but be confident in your pursuits and you will realize what you want to do and be in the places that you want to be that recognize your value. And so that's my tip, my trick, my thoughts for you around how to navigate uncertainty with confidence in times of transition. And now I'm getting away from my script a little bit. If you are somebody out there that is going through this transition, even ones that I've talked about, maybe some slightly different ones, think about this. Think about what I have shared with you. And if it made sense to you, play it back. Play it back. There will be a replay of this. You'll be able to find this also at a future release of the Drop In CEO podcast. You'll find this on my YouTube channel. And I do hope that you can put this all to practice because I'm just want to give you the best value, the best of advice. Some of the advice I've had to take myself, but I want to be able to make sure that you can do this on your own. But having said that, I can be your compass. I can be your number two. I can be your resource. Reach out to me on my website, dropinceo.com. Go to my contact page. Let's set up a free 30-minute conversation. And I know and I will get to know you. I want to know you and your opportunity. And I want to be able to impart some thoughts or values or share with you things that I see about you that maybe you can't see yourself. And if I can provide you more value after that brief encounter, then maybe we can continue the collaboration. I would really love to do that with you. And another way you can get a hold of me, catch me on LinkedIn, Deborah A. Coviello, or the Drop In CEO. It is me answering all those messages. I don't have a bot. I don't have a VA. It is me that you're talking to. This is an invitation to, let's just have a conversation. I've had so many people talk to me and just say, after they talked with me, they never realized their value or their marketability or the value that they bring or just have a different perspective. I promise you, I just have a way when we just connect human to human to be able to help you see the possibilities and be confident with that uncertainty. And so with that, I want to thank you for dropping in on another episode of the Drop In CEO podcast. I'm Deb Coviello, your host, your guide, your number two, your compass. I want to help you succeed. And I just want to wish you well and much success until we meet again. And just take care now. Bye.